It went really well. I mean, both Shedeur and Travis, they're fantastic young men. They're great human beings. Just kind of getting to know them both throughout the process. They really have been like raised right. They're all about football. They're smart. They're humble. It was really a pleasure. Very clean, very similar to what you see in the fall. He's very accurate. He throws with good touch. He has good pace. I actually thought the best balls that he threw this afternoon were the deep shots. Really well placed, plenty of range. You would expect quarterbacks to show well in this setting, and particularly ones with his skill set, just given how accurate, how catchable of a ball he throws. But he did a really nice job.
The Cleveland Browns front office dropped a bombshell that has sent shockwaves through the entire organization and left fans furious. Just when it seemed like the team's long nightmare at quarterback was finally over, and Shedeur Sanders might be the answer they've been looking for almost 30 years, the front office dropped a bombshell that has sent shockwaves through the entire organization and left fans furious. The ink on the headline celebrating Shedeur's historic first win is still wet. This is the first time since 1995 that a Browns rookie quarterback has won his first start. And the rumors are already starting. Doubt is already starting to creep in.
I mean, he put it up, and I'm just like, oh God, who was I even going to? I wasn't even looking down there to see IB, and then, I'm just looking. I'm like, oh God, please. And he drops it in the bucket, and he reaches it out. I'm like, please, just don't fumble into the end zone. And I'm just like, wow, there's not many guys in the league that can make that throw. So that was a hell of a throw. I hope he can continue to grow and develop, for making plays like that, and take it from there.
The same old problems with Cleveland's organizations and quarterbacks that have been going on for generations are starting to show up again. This time, the source of the chaos isn't a random media rumor or a conspiracy theory on a fan forum. This is coming from people inside the organization who are supposed to be helping Shedeur succeed by building around him and giving him every chance to do so. Instead, they are already planning to replace him before he has even played a full season. Mary Kay Cabot, one of the most well-connected and respected Browns insiders in the business, dropped a bombshell when she said that even though Shedeur had a great first game and broke the record for most rookie losses in a row, the Cleveland front office is still seriously thinking about drafting another quarterback in the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft.
This has been an absolutely tremendous rookie class, and I think it sets the foundation for the rebuild. I really do. I think this is just phase one of building Super Bowl window 2, which again, I've taken a little bit of criticism for saying that elsewhere, but I really do believe this is the first layer of Super Bowl window 2.
Take a moment to think about that. Shedeur just did something that 17 other Browns rookie quarterbacks couldn't do in almost 30 years. He threw for more than 200 yards, including a 52-yard bomb that showed off his arm strength. He also threw a touchdown pass, managed the game well while the defense was in charge, and walked off the field as the winner in one of the most stressful debut situations imaginable. The front office's response is basically, "Thanks for the win, kid, but we're still not sure you're the guy, so we're going to use our first-round pick next year to find someone else." According to the insider report, the front office thinks it's too risky to judge a quarterback based on just 6 or 7 starts. They want to see more before they fully commit to Shedeur as the team's starting quarterback. They don't want to miss out on a possible franchise quarterback in the 2026 draft class if one is available when Cleveland picks. The reasoning, if there is any, is as follows. It's a good problem to have if we end up with 2 great quarterbacks, because we can work with both of them and then trade one for a lot of first-round picks. But that's not how things work. In fact, there are about 17 things wrong with that way of thinking. But let's begin with the most obvious one. How is Shedeur supposed to grow and reach his full potential when the organization is already planning to draft his replacement before he's even had a chance to show what he can do over a whole season? When you think about how Shedeur got into this situation, the level of hypocrisy and dysfunction in the organization is shocking. He wasn't supposed to start yet. The plan was for him to sit and learn for most of his first season, while more experienced quarterbacks took care of the starting duties. He was picked in the 5th round, which shows that the team didn't fully trust him during the draft. If not, they would have picked him sooner or traded up to get him. And then, because of an injury, he had to play sooner than expected. But he didn't get a lot of practice time with the first team because he wasn't supposed to be the starter. He was thrown into the fire with little time to prepare, facing one of the most stressful situations imaginable as a rookie quarterback for the Browns, trying to end a 29-year drought. Even with all of those problems and every reason to struggle or fail, he went out and won the game, putting up good numbers and showing maturity and calmness beyond his years. And now, after finally doing something that hasn't happened in Cleveland since 1995, breaking a curse that had become a national joke and a sign of Brown's failure as a manager, the front office is basically saying, we need to see more. 6 or 7 starts isn't enough for us to assess you. We're keeping our options open for next year's draft. Can you imagine how disrespectful and demoralizing that must be for Shedeur? Can you picture being a young quarterback who just did something that will go down in history? Who just gave Browns fans a reason to hope for the first time in decades, only to find out that the people who are supposed to be helping you and building around you are already planning to draft someone else? This choice looks even more ridiculous when you compare it to other young quarterbacks in the league. When a team picks a quarterback in the first round and he shows any kind of promise in his first season, the team immediately makes him the franchise guy and starts building the rest of the team around his strengths. They don't start looking for new players right away in the next draft class. They let their young quarterback grow, give him weapons and protection, and watch him over several seasons before deciding whether or not to move on. Cleveland, on the other hand, wants to see Shedeur play in 6 or 7 games, which is way too few to make a final decision about a quarterback's long-term potential. Then, after Shedeur has played less than half a season, they might draft his replacement. When you look at the 2026 quarterback class objectively, it doesn't even look that great, even though Cleveland is supposedly so in love with it. There isn't a player coming out who is as good as Andrew Luck or Trevor Lawrence. There isn't a clear-cut franchise quarterback that every team would trade up to get. There are some good prospects in the class, but none of them are clearly and obviously better than what Shedeur has already shown in his limited chances. People talk about the Indiana quarterback as one of the best prospects, but he hasn't done anything close to what Shedeur did in college, and he definitely hasn't had to deal with the pressure of winning his first game as a Browns rookie quarterback with 29 years of failure hanging over his head. The way things are set up here is the most worrying and frustrating thing for anyone who cares about the Browns or Shedeur's career. This is the same team that has had more quarterbacks than any other team in the NFL in the last few years. This is the same group that has ruined the careers and confidence of several young quarterbacks by not committing to them, always looking for the next option and making the environment unstable and full of doubt instead of support and growth. And here they are doing the same thing again, treating Shedeur like he's guilty until proven innocent instead of giving him the full support and commitment he needs to reach his full potential. Think about how this kind of management style affects a young quarterback's growth. Shedeur will know that the front office is already looking for someone to take his place every time he steps onto the practice field. He'll wonder if this is the game that makes the team want to draft someone else every time he makes a mistake or has a bad game, which will happen because every quarterback has problems. Every time he reads an article or sees a social media post about which college quarterback Cleveland should draft, it will make him less sure of himself and make him feel like he's playing for his job instead of with the freedom and aggression that quarterbacks need to reach their full potential. This is not the way to make a franchise quarterback. This is how you make a self-fulfilling prophecy that the player will fail because the team never gave him the help and stability he needed to succeed. It's also important to think about how much money it would cost to draft another first-round quarterback in 2026. First-round picks get guaranteed contracts and have a big effect on the salary cap. If Cleveland picks a quarterback high in the first round next year, they'll be spending a lot of money on that player, while also having Shedeur on the roster. That money could be used to build an offensive line to protect the quarterback who starts. That's money that could be used to get weapons at running back or receiver. That draft capital could be used to make the defense better or fill other needs. Cleveland would instead be doubling down on quarterback, which basically means they don't trust the fifth-round pick they just saw win his first start and end a nearly 30-year drought. This message is also bad for the locker room and could split the team. Shedeur's teammates saw him walk into a very tough situation and win. After the game, they all celebrated with him. They saw how calm and in charge he was under pressure, and now they're going to hear that the front office is already looking for someone to take his place. What does that do to the chemistry of the team? How does that change how veteran players see the organization's dedication to winning? When players see that the front office doesn't trust a quarterback who just won his first start and ended a long losing streak, they start to question the organization's ability to make good decisions and stick to its goal of building a winning culture. It's even more ironic that Cleveland is in this situation when you think about how many teams in the league are desperately looking for a stable quarterback and would do anything to have a young signal caller like Shedeur, who has already shown so much promise and potential. This season alone, some teams have used more than one starting quarterback. Teams that would definitely give up their first-round picks to get a quarterback with Shedeur's background and early success. And Cleveland is lucky to have a quarterback who just did something that had never been done before. And their answer is to start looking for someone to take his place before he's even had a chance to prove himself. This news comes at a very bad time, because it completely ruins the good feeling that Shedeur's first win gave everyone. Finally, Browns fans could enjoy something good. Finally had a reason to be hopeful about what was to come. At last, I could look at the quarterback position without feeling hopeless. People used to make fun of Cleveland, but now they might have found their guy. There was a lot of excitement and buzz in the air. Then the front office comes in and immediately ruins all that good mood by saying they're already thinking about drafting a replacement. It's as if the group is allergic to success or can't see when they finally found something good. This choice makes even less sense when you think about how Cleveland's quarterbacks have done in the past. The Browns have failed at the quarterback position every time in the last 30 years because they didn't give them stability, support, and commitment. They've picked well-known quarterbacks, but haven't built a good team around them. They've hired veterans and then hurt them by always looking for ways to make things better. They've made it so that quarterbacks are more likely to fail than to succeed. And now that they finally have a young quarterback who has shown real promise and done something historic, they're doing the same things that have caused them to fail over and over again. In the modern NFL, it usually takes at least 2 full seasons for teams to make final decisions about a quarterback's long-term potential. The game is too hard. It's hard to judge a quarterback after 6 or 7 starts because the change from college to professional football is so big and the learning curve is so steep. Even the best quarterbacks in NFL history had rough patches early in their careers. As a rookie, Peyton Manning threw 28 picks. In his first season, Troy Aikman lost all 11 games. Drew Brees had a hard time at first, but he became a Hall of Famer. In all of those cases, the most important thing was that the teams stuck with their young quarterbacks, helped them grow, and gave them time to do so instead of looking for new ones right away. Cleveland's plan to possibly draft a quarterback in 2026 also doesn't take into account how the draft process really works. It is not always easy to find good college quarterbacks, and there are always surprises. For every can't-miss prospect who makes it, there are a lot of highly touted quarterbacks who don't make it in the NFL. The Browns have seen this happen before with their own drafts. They've picked high quarterbacks who were supposed to save the franchise and then watched them fail. They've passed on quarterbacks who went on to have good careers in other places. It's crazy to think that Cleveland's front office can accurately guess which college quarterback in the 2026 class will be better than Shedeur based on a small amount of college tape and pre-draft evaluations, given how bad the organization has been at evaluating quarterbacks in the past. Shedeur will be under a lot of pressure for the rest of the season because of this news, which could hurt his development. He won't be able to focus on learning the offense, getting to know his receivers, and improving at a natural pace for a rookie quarterback. Instead, he'll be playing with the knowledge that every performance is being judged on whether or not the team should draft his replacement. Young quarterbacks can feel the pressure and try to do too much, which can lead to forcing throws and making mistakes they wouldn't make if they had the security and confidence that comes from having the support of their team. Fans have been very upset about this news. Brown fans are especially angry that the team is already making people doubt and worry about a quarterback who just gave them something to celebrate for the first time in almost 30 years. Fans who are sick of seeing their team hurt itself through bad decisions and disorganized management flooded social media with angry comments. There is a clear agreement among Brown's followers. Before you even think about drafting a replacement, give Shedeur a real chance to show what he can do for a full season or more. Give the young quarterback your support. Make him the center of attention. Give the job the stability and dedication it hasn't had in decades. If Cleveland really goes through with this plan, it could have terrible effects on Shedeur's career in the long run. If the Browns pick a quarterback in the first round of the 2026 draft, there will be a fight for the starting job right away. This will hurt Shedeur's chances and make the most important position on the team unstable. Shedeur will always be worried about making a mistake, even if he wins the competition and stays the starter. A higher draft pick is waiting for him to make a mistake. If the team decides to go with the new rookie, Shedeur becomes a valuable trade asset or backup. His career could be ruined by a team that never gave him a fair chance to prove himself as a franchise quarterback. At this point, Shedeur's advice has to be simple. Don't pay attention to the noise. Instead, focus on his preparation and performance and let his play do the talking. He has no say over what the front office does during the draft. He can't change how they rate things or how long it takes them to make a decision. He can only control how well he plays on the field. If he keeps playing well, keeps getting better, and shows the same calmness and skill that he did in his first game, Cleveland will have to keep him and won't be able to find a reason to draft a new player. If the disorganization and lack of support hurt his performance, or if the pressure and instability make him struggle, the front office will use that as an excuse to draft another quarterback, which will make him fail even more. Browns fans are sad and angry when they see how other teams in the league have been able to find franchise quarterbacks. The Chiefs, Bills, and Bengals all found their franchise quarterbacks and fully supported them. They built their teams around their strengths, gave them stability and support, and made sure that young quarterbacks could reach their full potential. Cleveland has been doing the opposite for 30 years, making things unstable, hurting young quarterbacks, not giving them enough support, and always looking for the next option instead of developing the talent they already have. And now, they're about to do it again with Shedeur Sanders, which could mean missing out on another chance to finally fix the position that has been a problem for this team since the 1990s. Right now is the time to build a winning team around Shedeur, not after they've drafted another quarterback and made a competition that splits the locker room and hurts both players. If Cleveland really thinks Shedeur showed promise in his first game, and that he could become a franchise quarterback, they should fully commit to him, use their draft picks to build around him, give him weapons and protection, and give him the stability and support that every young quarterback needs to reach their full potential. Picking a quarterback in the first round in 2026 does the opposite. It makes people doubt and makes things less stable, which makes it harder for Shedeur to succeed and could waste valuable resources that could be used to make the team better. This is exactly why Cleveland has been a joke for so long, and why so many talented players have not reached their full potential while playing for the Browns. Since 1999, the team has had more than 30 starting quarterbacks. It's not just bad luck or coincidence. It's a failure of the system, bad choices, no clear vision for the organization, and not being able to stick to a plan and follow it through. The front office makes things unstable, hurts their own players, and then acts shocked when those players don't do well in such a bad environment. For 30 years, this has been a pattern that keeps happening. If the team does go through with its plan to draft another quarterback in 2026, it will be yet another example of Cleveland hurting itself. The prime equity clause in Shedeur's contract has financial effects that make this situation even more complicated. Shedeur makes more money from sponsorships and sales of merchandise, which means he has more ways to make money than just his rookie contract. If Cleveland picks a quarterback in the first round next year, though, and there is a competition or controversy at the position, that makes Shedeur less marketable and could cost him a lot of money in endorsements and merchandise sales. That kind of contract structure should create a mutually beneficial relationship between the player and the organization. This only works if the team is committed to the player and helps him build his brand, instead of making him question his future right away. This is the bottom line. This news is enough to make Cleveland Browns fans very angry. Their team finally did something good, finally had a reason to celebrate, Finally, there was a reason to think that the quarterback curse might be over. And the front office quickly ruined that good mood by saying that they were already planning to draft a new quarterback to take the place of the one who just made history. It's the best example of how an organization can be dysfunctional. This is a great example of why Cleveland has been stuck in the middle for so long, and a sad reminder that the Browns will keep having problems no matter how good their quarterbacks are until the front office changes how they handle the position. So, if you want to keep up with this totally crazy situation as it unfolds, if you want to see if Cleveland really goes through with this strange plan to draft another quarterback, or if Shedeur's play makes them change their mind, or if you just want to keep track of what might be one of the most frustrating decisions made by an NFL team in a long time, you need to subscribe right now so you don't miss any updates. Let us know in the comments below if you think Cleveland is making a huge mistake, or if it makes sense to look at more than one quarterback option. And if you're sick of seeing the Browns hurt themselves with bad decisions and bad organization, hit that like button. The drama is just getting started, and it will be fun to see how it all plays out over the course of the season, as well as next year's draft.